Florida. Let's go to Michael McCaul right now, the Texas Republican Congressman, the House Homeland Security Committee, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman. Busy guy. Chairman, always good to have you. You know, the president has gone back and forth on, illegal or, undocumented, or you shouldn't be here. I think he got the cusp of it when he said that. You shouldn't be here and you are here, which is essentially what illegal is. Does it matter to you how it's described?
Well, I mean, it's really semantics, but the idea he has to apologize for calling it what it is. This killer of Lake and Riley was in the country illegally. And that's the whole point here. And this is not one isolated event. When you have 200,000 people dying to fentanyl overdoses, to the terror threat coming in the United States, but also the 8 million encounters, and you're going to see more and more killings, more and more deaths to fentanyl, and more terror threats as this policy is just totally out of control.
Now, in the meantime, in the president's latest budget, he's committed $4.7 billion as part of an emergency fund to address these surges. What do you think of that?
I think the Democrats' response is always to throw more money at the problem. But the problem is he stopped the policies that were working. The president already has executive powers and congressional authorities that we have passed in the Congress to go back to the policies that were working, primarily remain in Mexico. I marked that up out of my bill, even though, Neil, it's a 30-year-old statute, ending catch and release, completing the border wall. All these things can be done immediately by the president, maybe putting a moratorium on new people coming in so we can get this thing under control. But he refuses to take any action. Rather, I think he wants cover from the Congress, because the last thing he wants to do is admit that the prior administration, President Trump, was right.
So when he talks about this bipartisan measure that he blames on former President Trump for torpedoing, that a lot of your colleagues were afraid to challenge Donald Trump on this, so they folded. That's the way he's presenting it. How do you see it?
I don't think anybody folded. We did pass H.R. 2, by the way, Neil, which the Senate refuses to take up.
Well, no Democrats supported that in the House, if I remember.
And that's very true.
So that was the problem, right?
I was told by Schumer that all border-related stuff is dead now in the Senate, so I don't know. All I know is this. I chaired Homeland for 3 terms. I was a federal prosecutor down at the border. The authorities are there. The president could take action today, but he refuses to do so. We can continue to pass these bills. We can throw more money at the problem, but the real problem are these asylum, the policies of, political asylum, and reforming those so the magnet, the pull factor for the cartels is shut off. In that prior report, it was alarming to me to think there could be a nexus between ISIS and the smugglers making money. Now, is this financial terror operations, or could they be operational? That is, actually getting in the country to conduct terror plots in the United States. That always concerns me, given my background.
I'm just wondering, as you step back and look at this, and now the concern that some nefarious elements have gotten through that border might already be here, the way the FBI director outlined it, they could be well along to being here and planning something.
And I try to be very careful when I talk about this threat. I don't want to exaggerate, I don't want to overplay it. But when the FBI director, who I know very well, is stating that all the red alarms are going off right now, that's a pretty serious message from our FBI director. I personally believe he's telling the truth. I think Hamas has gotten into this country. I think ISIS and Al-Qaeda related groups are a threat at the border. And you have 300 on the terror watch list we apprehended. We don't even know how many got into this country. All we know is we apprehended 300. That number, when I chaired Homeland back in the day with ISIS and the Caliphate, would have been an alarming number to pay attention to.
Absolutely. Chairman, thank you for taking the time. Always good seeing you, sir, even under these circumstances.
Thank you, Neil.